Hey there again, guys. It's Max Clausen, and I'm going to be bringing you an update to my Graydle Kaiju deck profile. So, yeah, I know. It's my first, well, not first, but an update of one of my older profiles when I just started uploading again. But the reason is I'm waiting for some new cards to get here, and when they do get here, I'm going to be bringing you guys some other deck profiles that I really want to show off. So, keep in mind, just know one is all about a dragon of blue. But anyway, I've been working around with this deck, and I came up, well, not came up, but seen some builds that were recently made of this deck, and decided, let me just try and put my try into it. So this is what I put together. So I'm going to be showing you the main extra inside, as always. And if you enjoy what you see, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. So, let's jump into this. So, for the standard off, we're going to be playing our Graydles. The new addition is going to be Graydle Slime. So, for what people who may not know what he does, if you control you can target 2 Graydle cards you control, destroy them, and then summon this card from your hand or graveyard. And then if he's summoned by his effect, you can summon a Graydle monster back from your grave. So he works by playing off with Graydle Eagle, which is pretty much what he was made for, to help go into those kinds of plays. And Eagle, if you remember from my other profile, when destroyed by a monster effect or by battle, you can take a monster your opponent controls. So these two go hand in hand together. Next up is the one Cobra. We're still rocking the only one because the trap version to help combo with him is a little too slow, so we're not trying to have that here. The deck is already slow enough. But battle and trap effects, steal a monster. Got Graydle Gator, who combos off with your Graydle Impact. Spell effects in battle, take a monster effect, and has the biggest defense. Well, second biggest defense. The first most important would be a Graydle Slime Jr. In terms of great defense, we got 1, 2, and 3, but you have to get him with this effect. But Graydle Slime Jr., when destroyed by battle, you can summon a Graydle from your deck, and when it's normal summon, you can summon a level 3 or lower Aqua or Sea Serpent monster, I believe it is. I don't feel like looking at the text, but basically it's going to use it to bring back your Graydles. And if you have a Graydle in your hand, you can summon that as well. So it's a 3 material for level 8 Synchro, which would be our dragon. Next up, for our Kaiju side of the deck, we have the 2 Jizukiru, the 2 Godarla, the 2 Gamma Seal, and the 2 Raiden. I decided to put Raiden here because you can end up running out of your Kaijus a little fast at times, or you just end up drawing into like 2 or 3 of them. So at least if you have 3 or so, you have 4 left in the deck somewhere. And if you do happen to draw more of them, you want to draw different names of them so you can beat over the less powerful ones. But in any case, all your Kaijus you would use to get rid of your opponent's monsters, they don't have their own effects because we are not playing the field spell. Next up, for my other cards, I do have the 1 Dino Wrestler Pancratops, just so I can have a free body on the board and something that can bait out an opponent's negation or what have you. Like, say if my opponent had a Baron on the field, I just summon this, activate his effect to try and pop Baron. The opponent is forced to negate it unless they don't have any other ways of negation. And it's a pretty beefy boy sitting there at 2600. Next up, for our hand traps, instead of just Ghost Sister, we are now playing the Ash Blossom to stop our opponent from interacting with the deck. And our Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood to gain life points whenever our opponent summons a monster. Just chain this to something that they have to commit to. Like, say if your opponent goes Branded Fusion, you don't have the Ash, or you have the Ash, you use it, they hit call by. You can then just go like, alright then, cool, chain Ghost Sister. Now I can just gain life points, and you have a choice of continuing to fusion summon, which will give me more life points, or just stopping on whatever you summoned. That's it for our monster count, a crazy amount of 25. Feel like I'm playing synchros. Well, I am, in a sense. Next up, we have the standard mandatory 3 Graydle Impact. During the end phase, which really, I always hate reading that part of the card. End phase, search a Graydle card, including itself, and once per turn, you can target a Graydle card another Graydle card you control, and one card your opponent controls, destroy both of them. But when you can only use one effect per turn. Next, we do have the 2 Pot of Prosperity. But I decided to put this only at 2 just because, you know, there are times when I want to see it, but I don't want to activate it and then see another pot in the excavation, because then that just feels bad. Back to the Upstart Goblin days, or the Pot of Desires, where you get the other one off it. So, you know, just one pot can activate, banish 3 to 6 cards, excavate that many. Your opponent takes half battle damage for the rest of the turn. So, should you happen to have a good enough hand, you can just battle first, then activate this. Next, we do have the 2 Kaiju Slumber. Bump this down as well, because as powerful as a card this is, it can be hit with Ash, which is annoying. So decided to just lower it down, because again, you don't want to run out of your Kaijus too quickly, because they are your answer to problematic monsters your opponent may have that can't be targeted or destroyed by effects or what have you. So it's another nice way. Also, this can just search out your Kaijus anyway. Next, from one of the profiles I did see, I'm running a creature swap. Excuse me. So, I don't know if this thing has a rarity bump, but if it does, let me know. I'll probably look for it. So, you may know what this card does already. You and your opponent give control of of a monster you both control. So, give them one of your Graydles. They give you one of their monsters of their choice. And then, you know, you just run over the Graydle. Its effect activates. You can steal one of the other monsters. Pretty crazy card. I can't believe I wasn't running this at first. And next, we do have the obligatory 1 Call by the Grave. You know, just so your opponent can't hit you with the Ash or whatever have you. Next, for the traps, we have beefed them up in a way. Still main decking the 3 Skill Drain, because all your effects resolve in the graveyard, and most decks just auto lose to this card because they have no outs. We run the 3 Torrential Tribute, just so we can all go for a swim together. Your opponent overextends, you just flip this up, send everything away, and then we just start the game over. And then I do play the 1 Graydle Parasite, just because this is another card. It's pretty much like Slime Jr. When you get attacked directly, you can activate this and summon a Graydle from your deck. Or if you attack directly, you can summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard. Not many times you would want to do that, unless you want to, you know, just be cheeky and steal a monster you know that just can keep your opponent at bay. So that's it for the main deck. It's actually been bumped up to 43 cards. I know, it's crazy, but yeah, that's sometimes what you got to do with these rogue decks. On to the Synchro lineup. We still are playing the 1 Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. I decided to take out Stardust because you don't have to use Stardust to even just have this card. You just summon this, bring back your level 2 tuner, sync them off, summon into your level 10, which we do have, is the Baron, and she's just unaffected by your opponent's stuff. I believe that's how it works. If not, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, don't summon this card often, but you know, it's here just for the level 8 you can make. We are still having the 1 Aurora Whale to destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. We still have the Crimson Blader to lock your opponent out from special summoning level 5 or higher monsters. Still with our boss monster of the deck of Graydle Dragon to destroy cards up to the number of water materials used for it, including the tuner. We still have our boy Dragite to negate an opponent's spell and trap card while you have a water monster in your graveyard, and whoa, what do you know? The entire deck is water. And the 1 Baron DeFleur to go in with our Axel Stardust. Now for the Xyz, we do still have the Phantom Knights of Breaksword to destroy cards on the field. Then for that we go into Downer, and then the Zeus. Just our Zeus package for the deck. Now for the links, the one Miss Starboy, the one Era, the Water Charmer, the one Nightmare Unicorn, and the one Mech Knight Crusader Avamax. I was going to put in my Borolo Dragon, but I just can't find it. I think I may have sold it. Oh well. But Avamax is just a little better at the time, being that your monsters have to attack into him, and he gains that monster's attack points during the battle, I believe, once. And that's not affecting the monster, it's affecting him solely. And if he dies, he gets another effect, but that's not relevant for this deck, I believe, right now. That's it for our extra deck. Now let's move in to the side that I actually do have. Well, that I had a side otherwise. To keep our opponent from banishing stuff from our graveyard, and for their strategy, we run the 3 Lancia. It's a good hand trap to replace probably the Ash or so, but whatever. Next, I do main deck the 3 summon limit, just because we don't special summon in this deck almost at all. Only time we do is when we summon a Kaiju to our opponent's side of the field. And I want you guys to look comment in the comment section, like, when you summon a Kaiju while this is face up on the field, does your opponent banish a card, or do you, the original owner of the Kaiju, does? Because I'm not sure how that works, because this card says when a monster is summoned, the controller of that monster chooses. So I believe it does force the opponent to banish, but you know, again, let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. Next up, for the obligatory max C of the deck, we have the 3 Shared Ride. If an opponent adds anything off to their hand, immediately after that, draw 1 card. And to keep our opponent at bay even more, we have the 3 Solemn Judgment. Annoying that I only had the 2 secrets in the 1 column common. And then we do main deck the 3, there can only be 1. Excuse me. Mainly because most decks, you know, Kashtira, Purely, what else? Trap Tricks, Labyrinth. I believe the entire archetype only focuses on 1 type of monster, so while this is up, they can't do any of their plays. And you can always just, you can't really turn it off, but whatever. It just keeps your opponent at bay, because this is a floodgate kind of deck. So yeah, that is an update to the Graydle Kaiju deck profile. I want you guys to leave comments down below of what you think. I always check my deck profiles and see how well they've been doing, and surprisingly enough, the Graydle Kaiju video has gotten quite a lot of views, up to 1.9k, which is really crazy. Really appreciate that kind of support. It shows that people like these old and not really thought about decks, but can still just catch people off guard. So, you know, if you guys want to see more of that, just be sure to let me know. I'll be happy to bring them to you when I can. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this profile, the updated, be sure to like it, share it with your friends or anybody that you know that wants to get into the game with a stun kind of oriented deck, because that's pretty much what this is. And yeah, subscribe for more, and I will catch all of you in the next one.